here again, to see faces that are familiar. Some of your faces are more grown up than the last time I saw you. Some of your voices are even more grown up, but just as sweet. In fact, when I came in this morning, the first thing I asked was, is the choir singing a special item for me today? I was told that, unfortunately, you didn't come prepared today, but I tell you what, when I started coming up, when you were doing the introit, something happened. It's almost as if the hairs on the back of my head were standing up because the sound that you produce was just incredible. Honestly, this choir excites me like you would never believe it. I mean, I remember a few things about your church, but this one is one never to be forgotten. And in fact, you don't know this, but I've been advertising the choir. I really have. Because when I was here the last time, I was so inspired by what I heard, how you were well organized and well behaved. Thanks to your choir leaders. I think the last time was it you who was in front here? Might have been. But honestly, your church is a model that I would like to take everywhere I visit in the MC. Amen. Because just hearing you sing and how involved in the whole service you are is incredible. It really is wonderful. And honestly, I have never seen children so well behaved. It is awesome. And I've told many, and whenever I learn that one of my colleagues, whoever the director or the officer who's coming here, I said, listen, you are going to hear a choir that is going to blow your socks off. And you've never failed. You've always delivered. I remember your face. I really do. And you, I do. We had lunch close to each other last time I was here. But honestly, it's really good to see you growing up. I guess there are some now who are so grown up that they're no longer in the choir. They're no longer sitting here. Might be some of the guys who were here the last time. I don't know. But you know, some of our youngsters, I know what it's like. They get to a certain age and they feel, well, I've outgrown the choir. Well, I hope you've never outgrown singing, whatever you do, all right? And you've never outgrown pathfinders, because, you know, you can become a master guide, then you become a pathfinder director, and all the rest of it, right? And in fact, I learned this morning that your pathfinder, tell me again, the person who lost a relative, the pathfinder leader has lost a relative, he died, right? Is that kind of Joe Paul? Okay, right. Okay, well, listen, just please convey my family and all personal greetings and from the office. I don't know whether they know, but, you know, we just want to let Joe know that we are thinking of him, and we really appreciate the service that you guys give to the youngsters here. It is so valuable, whether it be in the choir, whether it be pathfinders, Sunday school classes, whatever it is. This is the age that really, really matters. It makes a difference. I can say that from my own life, you know, I remember being a junior, I remember being taught in primary, I remember those are the things that has resonated with me and have kind of kept me grounded. And I tell you, you'll never be able to put a price on what you do. And I tell you, I love the way your church is. I love especially how you get the children involved. And even having 2 appointees for the children's story prayer. That's incredible. Normally, you know, we do the children's story and, you know, oftentimes you're struggling for one child to say, I will do it. But, you know, I tell you, I would love to take the model of this church to all the churches that I visit. Honestly, large churches, small churches, because you understand that children are not for the future, they're for right now. And that's a fantastic thing. I really congratulate you on that. It means a lot. So don't worry, even though you haven't got a special, you've already sung at least 3 or 4 times, and I've heard the harmonies. They're just as good, if not better, and I really genuinely appreciated. I'm telling you, as soon as I was coming forward with the rest of the platform party, my head, something just happened. And it was that song that I remembered that was so beautifully harmonic, just at the right tone. It was just excellent. And it really meant a lot to me. So God bless you. All right? God bless you. And also understand that there was supposed to be a baptism today. Is that right? Who are the people? Are any of them here that was to be baptized? Are they Birmingham? Okay, so you were planning to go to join a family who's having the baptism or was having the baptism. Is the baptism being postponed? Oh, okay. Well, you know, that's really wonderful. And it just shows what family is all about, you know. Not that the baptism is important, but obviously the fact that Joe Paul and his family had to be away and would love to be at the baptism. You can't be in two places at the same time. All right? And you can't postpone a death. You know, you can postpone a baptism, but you can't. So it's all understood. And I was so glad when I learned that in spite of the very sad news of your Pathfinder leader losing a relative, that at least you were going to be here. Because, you know, I had a sense that maybe only the elders and a few people who couldn't make it to Birmingham would have been here. And it wouldn't be the same, I tell you, it wouldn't be the same. So I'm glad you're here. I'm so delighted to see all of you. And there are not many churches that my wife and I would break our holidays to come to visit and to preach. We actually are genuinely, officially on holiday. And so when I knew I had to come here, we decided to split the holiday. So we did the first half in Derbyshire District, and we will do the second half not too far from where we are in the Norfolk coast. I don't know if any of you have ever been that way, but they're not far away, but beautiful places. And so we are going to be spending another week just trying to relax and trying to chill off and trying to forget work. But you know, I can tell you this, when you are a treasurer, if any of you have any plans to become a treasurer for the NEC one day, which is not impossible, why not? Okay? Why not? Just remember that your family time is going to have to be shared. Because life goes on, the treasury goes on, decisions need to be made, and very often it involves money. And if it involves money, you know, somehow, no matter where you are, you're going to get a telephone call, you're going to get an email, you're going to get a text, or you're going to have something that says, for the next 4 hours, we're going to have a meeting. You're not going to be physically there, but you have to be on the phone, seeing the meeting, being part of the meeting, because that's just the way it is. So if you want to know how busy I am, that's my holiday. That's not work. So you try and multiply that by. But you know what? God is good, and God has given me and my family the strength to do our very best for the conference. You know, I think I might have said this the last time I was here, but I'll say it again because I really mean it. If there is no local church, we don't need a conference. We don't have a conference. So, in case we forget, not you, in case we forget, may I remind you to remind us that no church, no conference. We do this together. Everything we do together. And I am aware, it was said in the prayer, and I am aware of your desire to purchase a church building. And you know what? With the program that you have here, it makes all the sense in the world. Because at the moment, you don't have to tell me, but I know, because I've been through this journey myself. There are so many things that you want to do to serve the community. So many programs you want to run. So whatever it is, you want to be able to share it with the communities where you live. Oftentimes, you haven't got a building or a place where you can take them because they're only here on Sabbath. So I can tell you, I am as excited as you are that you will be able to find a building. I don't know what the plan for this afternoon was, but if you want, if you have the time and are not interfering with another planned program, I am happy to go through with your treasurer, with your church elders, with your leaders, the process of buying a church from a church and conference perspective. I am happy to share with you an example of what we call the financial plan, where we can just take you through how do we arrive at what we can afford. Right? So I don't know what is planned. Is there a program this afternoon? Was there a program planned for this afternoon? Are you here this afternoon? You're here? Okay, I don't want to change. My wife and I will stay, and we will just leave at the end. But if you want any help from your conference treasurer in helping you to make an assessment of the possibility of buying a building, how much you might be able to afford, how much we can help you with, how much you might be able to borrow, and all that kind of stuff. We can go through that this afternoon for no more than about probably half an hour, 45 minutes. If you want me to, I am available. But if you have something else that is more important that you need to do, I will clearly understand. But I'll tell you why this is important. A few weeks ago, I went to Leeds. It was Leeds New Generation. And they have aspirations, just like you, in purchasing a building. And I took the opportunity during the presentation, just because they were so keen. They said, listen, we want you to show how we will be able to get a building. And I think in their minds, they had some idea that somehow we were going to be able to do something magical that was going to make it happen the next day or the next week. But we went through the process. And when they saw the process, they began to really understand, okay, this is our dream, here is where we are, and this is what we're going to have to do to get there, God willing. And it just made a massive difference. It didn't disappoint them to the point where they say, oh, we're not interested, but having the knowledge, having the information, rather than thinking, how is the conference going to help us? What are the possible avenues for us to source finance to buy a building? We can help you with that. And I'm telling you, it will be valuable whether we did it today or some other day. So I'm just suggesting, maybe it's a process we should go through, and I believe it will be a benefit. I would know a little bit more of where you are, you would know a little bit more of where we are, and what together we can achieve. Because, the fact that you need a church is a no-brainer. It really is, and it's just so lovely to see what you've done with what God has given you. And before I start the sermon, I just want you to know this. God is not going to wait till you are ready to find you a building. Because he's going to say, what are you doing with what is in your hands? Even without a building, you know what? We can still serve. We use creative ways to say, Lord, this is what we have, but we want to serve you. This is one way in which you're delivering and incredible service to your community. It's your children, yes I know, but you know what? We don't just want to go out there and try and reach others and save others at the cost of all precious children. Absolutely not. And so, this is an example of using what you have and making the most of it. I mean, God will say, I have a building in mind, and I know the people who could use this building to be of greater blessing to their community. That's the way it works. I could spend all day just telling you examples where I've seen God done this. It's incredible because in the first year when I started as a treasurer, which was 2016, I think we bought maybe 1 or 2 buildings. Then the second year, 2017, we probably bought about 3. In 2018, something has happened. Something has happened because it almost seems like every other month a church is looking and have seen a building. Some of those churches had something to sell, to buy, but a number of them didn't. But you know what? God has been incredible. He has been blessing this conference more than you probably know. More than you probably know. If I report to you that last year, 2017, if you don't believe me, you can go on the internet and look at our accounts. Our charity number is 104-5501. 104-5501. And you will see that God has been blessing His people. And so what I'm really saying to you is, be encouraged. Keep dreaming, because you can't dream bigger than God. You just serve Him with what you have. Don't say, oh, we'd love to do this, but we can't do it because we haven't got a building. Find another way. Because trust me, once you start working for God, He will provide you with all the tools, including the building, when it's the right time. Okay, but we got to move on to this, and I want to be able to share with you, whenever that's possible, some of the good news, wonderful things that are happening, so you can encourage you, and you can know, that, as one preacher puts it, God is in the neighborhood blessing people. And won't be long before He is in your neighborhood blessing you. So never forget that. Father in heaven, we come now to open your word. There's not much time left, Lord, but I pray that in the time you will help me to speak for you, not my words, not my thoughts, but Father, take it all from me. Give it back to us, so that, Father, it can be a blessing to us today, we pray, in Jesus' name. Just quickly, a word on my family. The last time I came, I think I was here on my own. Was I? Yes. Right. So my youngest daughter, Alana, wasn't even here with me then. And my older daughters wasn't here. My wife was not able to make it. But I want to tell you very quickly, I should have said this before I started the sermon, but let me just tell you, something else happened in recent months. I don't know if you can see much from there, but if you see me during lunchtime or any time before I go, I will show you another female that has come into our life. She is our granddaughter. She's our first child. So if I'm daughtered out, you know what daughtered out means? I'm the only one. 3 daughters and a granddaughter. Thank goodness I've got some good sons-in-law. Well, like sons anyway. But honestly, she is the most amazing thing that has happened to our family. And oh, I tell you, I don't know if any of you here are grandparents, but if you are not a grandparent yet, if there's one thing I will ask that the Lord will do for you, if He doesn't come yet, is that He will make this happen. Because when you become a grandparent, it takes parenting to another level. It's amazing. It really is. We want to see her every day. We want to talk to her every day. It's just amazing. And apparently in the African culture, it is said that your granddaughter is your second wife. Don't ask me how they worked that out, but I kind of think I understand what they're saying. You love this young lady so much. Sometimes I think, is my wife jealous? But her name is Ava Grace, and she is an absolute joy to our family. We all love her, and you can get and see her later if you're interested. All right? Okay, well, our message today is entitled New Brand, Brand New. You got it? New brand, brand new. Okay, let's have a little chat. Okay, let's have a little chat. When I was growing up, around about your age, probably about 10, 11, my dad was a very hard worker, bought a new brand car. At least, when I was growing up, around about your age, anything that was new, we didn't say new, we didn't say brand new, we say a new brand. You kids are quite bright. And you know the difference between brand new and new brand. Do you know? Do you know the difference? Okay, can somebody put their hands up and tell me? What is the difference between brand new and new brand? Or new brand and brand new? Because I didn't know until eventually I got to a certain age and my teachers taught me English, eventually helped me to realize. Because what I used to do, my dad bought this car. It was brand new. And I used to go around excited, telling all my friends, oh, my dad has a new brand car. Because I didn't know the difference between brand new and new brand. But in those days, in the Caribbean, when I grew up in the Caribbean, I was born here, I left here when I was 6. My parents went back to an island called Montserrat. Have you heard of Montserrat? No? Yes. You have to learn about Montserrat. See me later. It's one of the most beautiful small islands in the Caribbean. And if you listen and know your news, or know anything about what happened some years ago, in 1995, which is probably longer than most of you have been around, I would say, but if you ask your parents, they might be able to tell you. There was a volcanic eruption that meant over 2/3 of that little island called Montserrat was made inhabitable. And because it's a British colony, most of the families, especially those who had children, were given the opportunity to come to England. The motherland. Yes. Montserrat, although very small, population now is just over 4,000 people, of which most are not Montserratians or not born Montserratians. They came from other islands because even in the description of Montserrat, for some people it was better than where they were living. And thank God they came, because if those people from the other islands didn't come to Montserrat, Montserrat would not be seen to be viable. And the government of England said below a certain number of people, we will just give you the opportunity to either go to sister islands or come to England, and then we're done. Thankfully, people from other islands went to Montreal, and it's still viable. So viable that my grandmother, who is 97 and will be 98 in December, is still living there. And I go to see her if not every year, every other year. So, you know what? Sometimes, even in despair and destruction, God has a plan. And my grandma is still there, in a little island called Montreal. But that's not the sermon for today. The message is it possible to be both new brand and brand new? New brand, I believe it is. Let's look at some examples of branding. Let me see what you know, so that I can then take the sermon in a direction that you will understand. Let's think of Heinz. Heinz. Can I see the Heinz here? This group particularly, or the younger ones over here, who have never heard of Heinz. Never heard of Heinz. Which means that you have heard of Heinz. Tell me, what do you know about Heinz? Speak loudly. Heinz. H-E-I-N-Z. Heinz? Heinz? Heinz?
They don't eat fast food.
Is it ketchup? Yes. Any of the things that Heinz do? They do sauce? Yes. Any other thing? It's one of your favorite beans. There is no beans if it's not Heinz. I'm sorry. Sainsbury's might be cheaper, Morrison's might be cheaper, Aldi might be cheaper, but there is no beans. Heinz beans are too rice. But I'm glad you said ketchup. For me, there's only one ketchup. And you know what? You gotta be very careful. Because you know what some shops do? I've been in some cafes, not good restaurants, they wouldn't do this. But I've been in some cafes where they would use a Heinz bottle. This has happened to you, I can guarantee you. They would use a Heinz bottle, but put a totally different ketchup in the bottle. Heinz brand is so good that some people are even prepared to cheat and to make their customers think that Heinz is in the bottle. Why is Heinz such a loved brand? And why is Heinz such a... Anybody in Paris, you can tell me. Why is Heinz, I'm not saying that Heinz is necessarily your favorite, but why is Heinz such a loved brand? Tell me.
Very high content of salt.
Sorry?
Very high content of salt.
Okay, well that might make us like that. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that reply, but even that's helpful, because maybe that's one of the reasons why we're so drawn to it. Somebody, they got a high standard. So even in their salt, they have a high standard of salt. Right? But the real truth is that here's the point. I'm not saying that Heinz has to be your favorite. I'm not saying that Heinz is even the most healthy for you. All I'm really saying is Heinz is the benchmark for most people who make sauces. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that Heinz can't make curry like you guys do. I'm 100% certain of that, right? My wife and I, we went to a Bangladeshi restaurant. Thursday night was a jet. Thursday night, I lost. We've been going to the gym more recently, and I've lost some ounces. But I tell you, I went to that restaurant, and it was so much good food. We had it for evening meal last night too. That's one of the things I like about going to an Indian restaurant, right? Is that they serve you so much. You get 2 for to the price of one. It's amazing. But I love that meal. I really enjoyed it. And there was no Heinz in sight. But I'm making the point. Heinz is like the bench to cereals. Again, so much so that I used to work for a cereals company. Do you remember Benavita? You probably don't. Maybe your parents might know. But I used to work for Benavita. I worked there from 1998 to 2012, so it's quite a while. Right? And we used to use Kellogg's as a benchmark for honey nut cornflakes. In fact, when we were producing our product, we sampled a variety of cornflakes. But Kellogg's always came out number one. Why? Because Kellogg's was just known, and maybe had a lot of sugar in it, maybe had a lot of salt in it, I don't know. But it's the brand that people like because it tastes good. Therefore, it was the most bought brand of cereals. So branding seems, in my mind, to be really, really important. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask all of you a question. We are a church, right? We are a church. You're all, most of you, Seventh-day Adventists. Is that right? I would imagine. Do you think that as a church, you have a brand? I've already I've given you some ideas. Do you think as the Manchester Southern Asia Church that you have a branding that says something about who you are? Any ideas from adults or children? No ideas? Tell me. I talked about your food, which I enjoyed the last time I was here, but I've been raving about your choir. So I've given you some hints in terms of your branding as a church. And I'm not talking about external knowledge of your church, but whoever knows your church. What do your activities here say about you as a church?
We run a choir.
You run an excellent choir. You don't just run a choir. I said earlier, I would like your church to be an example to many other Seventh-day Adventist churches, large or small, because I have recognized that you as a church, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties, you've recognized that your children are important to your ministry here. And so, and I mean this, whenever I think of this church, the choir reminds me of a lot of what you are about. That's branding. You never thought of it, but it is branding. It is branding. It's saying something about who you are, what matters, what really matters. The choir is one thing. Your food, for definite. I told my wife, you ask her what I said to her when we were coming up. I hope there's lunch today. I've made an assumption. Okay. I said, Jay, their food is fantastic and they serve it generously. I told her that. So if you didn't plan for lunch today, you better start planning now. I'm pretty sure it's safe. Don't worry. But here's my point. You are all known for something. Whether you like it or not, whether you recognize it or not, you're a brand. For example, when I use the word new brand, let's see if we can break this down, especially for the children. New brand. Is everybody here a human being? Not sure? You wasn't sure what your choir leader? Is she a tough choir leader? Does she make you practice? Eh? She should. My choir leader when I was growing up, no messing. When it was quiet time, it was quiet time. No talking, no messing about. Well, a little bit of fun over again. But we were there for business, man. Okay? What? You're human beings, are you not? Huh? Yes, you are. You must be. You're a human being. We're all human beings, are we not?
Yes.
Right? I'm trying to make sure that you understand. Because hopefully, if you understand, your parents will get it. Okay? But we're all human beings. Well, I'm assuming your parents will get it. I might be wrong. English may not be their first language. And if that is the case, I apologize. Can somebody make sure that everybody here knows? Please, I beg. But here's the point. Here is the point. We are all brands of human beings. We are all brands of human beings. We're all people. We're all God's children. It doesn't matter what our color is. It doesn't matter what our hairstyles are like. It doesn't matter what our culture is. It doesn't matter. We are a brand of God's children.
Amen.
We're a brand of God's children. Therefore, in all truth, because we know Jesus and we know what He's doing in us, through us, and for us, we become new brands. New brand doesn't mean that it's better than. When Heinz makes a new brand, it's not making a new brand of ketchup. It's making a new brand of something that it already does and does well. So you don't have to be a ketchup. You don't have to be Honey Nut Cornflakes. Just know that with God in your life, you will be the best brand that you can be. You will be the best brand that you can be. So, when I use the word new brand, although I was using it in the wrong context then, you know what? It applies to us as Christians. We're all new brands. Because guess what? No two of us, no matter how close we are exactly the same. Isn't that good? That's wonderful news. I saw two gentlemen that collected the offerings today. And to me, they look alike. Maybe they're not family, but and I might be way off. Are you related, two gentlemen? Are you not? They're not. But amazing. That's when you're coming up to the front with the baskets. And honestly, you look like, I wouldn't say father and son. You look like a bigger brother and a younger brother. But you look alike. But the point I'm making, no matter how much you look like someone else, you are a different and a new brand. Brand of the same thing is not a problem. But within all of us, God is saying that I want you to be a person who knows me, who's been touched by me, who is influenced by me. That makes you almost like an extraordinary person. Not better than, but the best of your brand that you can be. Yes. That's the truth. Okay, let's see if we can look at brand new. In the context of the scripture reading, in the context, and this story is so well known, I'm going to paraphrase it so that you really get what I believe God wants us to get from this today. New brand, we'll explore that a bit. If I had more time, I would have done a bit more, but you know what? Let's move to brand new. When something is brand new, what does that mean? What have you got, brand? Tell me. It's brand new. established, a new brand is not necessarily brand new, it's just another brand of something that already exists. Okay? But a brand new is different. Brand new. If I say that you bought a brand new car, what am I saying? Sorry? It's never been used. It's brand new. It's been untouched from the time until when you got it. It's never been used. It's brand new. Right? And it doesn't matter whether, what's your favorite car? Any ideas? Keep it reasonable. Without forward. Give me an idea of one of your favorite cars. Any car. A Ford Focus maybe? It doesn't matter which one, okay? But you like the Ford. So if you have the money, one day when you grow up and you're working, you might buy a brand new Ford. Yeah? What happens if he buys a brand new Ford as well? Run at the same time. Does it make your car any less new? Does it change who your car is or what your car is? No. Because for you, you're experiencing a brand new car. He may have the same make, the same model, almost identical. But guess what? For him, it's new. And it's his new experience. It is his new car. So, let's see what the story tells us. I'm not going to read every verse, but I hope you heard it when the young lady read it. Start at verse 4. Now he had to go through, he meaning Jesus, he was with his disciples. They were doing a lot of traveling up and down the various villages and preaching and teaching and baptizing. Right? That's what Jesus did most when he was here. Verse 4 says, now he had to go through Samaria. So he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, being tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well, and it was about noon. So here we have a background painted for us where Jesus is traveling with his disciples. They came to a place where Jesus decided, you know what, I'm tired. I need to take a break. And it seems reasonable that for the time of day that he takes this break near to somewhere where he might be able to get some water. Because when you're hot, when you're warm, when you're sticky, when you're sweating because of the heat like I am right now, what would you like to drink? Huh? Any ideas? Water, yes? So Jesus was as human as we are. He wasn't doing anything here that was unusual. I'll tell you what might have been unusual. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? Remember, Jesus was there. He was tired. But there's a suggestion that Jesus didn't have anything from which to collect the water from Jacob's well. So here we have a scenario, and I'll paint it for you. A Samaritan woman was asked by Jesus, who is a Jew, for water. And let me tell you something, it was not acceptable for Samaritans and Jews to engage in conversation. They just didn't like each other. And in fact, it was even worse if you were a woman. If you were a Samaritan woman, so there was some unusual things happening here when Jesus asked the Samaritan woman for water. He says, this is most unusual. Why is that? Let's look at verse 9. Jesus answered, let's read verse 9 here. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" Samaritan woman, Jesus a Jew. Jesus asked a Samaritan woman for a drink. You may not know this, but if you one day as you grow up and you read the story again, you will know this. It was not usual, it was never common for anybody, male or female, to be going to the well at the hottest point of day for water. They would have already done that early in the morning. This probably has never happened to you, but I can guarantee you that some of your family here, your older members of your family, might have experienced a time when it wasn't as easy as turning on a tap to get water, when it was cold or when it was hot. I was born many years ago, and I went to Montserrat when I was 6. That was 1964. You probably worked out my age, right? How much you worked out here? Okay. We'll talk later. But I remember in the early days when I grew up, before we had water pipes coming straight to our house and being able to turn on the tap for water, fortunately we didn't have to walk far, but there were only certain spots where you had water that was available for the family to use. So guess what? We used to have to carry buckets, or either in our hands or on our heads, of water for doing everything. Everything, because there was no water immediately in the home. This was like what it was in those days. For all their water needs, they needed to go to the well. And it was unusual for people to go at the hottest point of the day, because you are so hot, you are so tired, everything seems twice as difficult. Let's move on. Then, after the woman says, "You are a Jew, I am a Samaritan," in verse 10, Jesus answered her and says, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Listen to the conversation. Jesus replies by saying, instead of focusing on the fact that you are a Jew and I am a Samaritan, let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. Jesus answered, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Let's go on. Verse 11. "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water?" A very logical response. You have nothing in your hand for which to collect water. Where are you going to get this living water? Do you think that was a reasonable question for the woman to ask? Given that he didn't have anything to collect the water? And she's thinking at the natural level. She's thinking about meeting her need for water that we drink. But Jesus was talking about something much greater than the water that we need. In fact, his answer says, if you knew who you were asking, you would ask me for living water. Anybody has any idea here what Jesus said? Doesn't matter, adult or child. Anybody here has any idea what Jesus was saying here? What was Jesus saying? Sorry? So Jesus was talking about a different kind of water. It's not that Jesus didn't care about the woman's thirst, but Jesus wanted to take this lady at a different place than what was the normal custom. Jesus wanted to take her on a journey of experiencing, as he describes it, living water. Then, verse 13, Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty. Everybody who drinks this will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. What a message. How are we going to understand this? The lady went for water, this water. Jesus asked her for this water. The lady responded and said, in the first place, you shouldn't really be talking to me. I'm a Samaritan, you're a Jew. But you're offering me water. If you're offering water, what in earth are you going to collect the water with? What are you going to use to collect the water? And then Jesus began to take this lady on a journey of describing the kind of water that he is able to give her. It's so much so that he says, if you had my water, the water that I wish to give you, you will be brand new, you will be a new brand, so much so that you will never thirst again. Well, let's break this down. Let's break this down. Number one, the woman went to the well at a certain time of day because that woman did not have the best reputation known. In fact, her branding was an awful brand. She lived the kind of life, that made her scorn of her community. And she felt so bad about her brand. She felt so bad about who she was. She went at the quietest time of day, noontime, when less people, if any people, would be there. And then she came across this man on his own, who she quickly recognized as a Jew, who was asking her for water. This man, she was not expecting. In fact, she was hoping that nobody would be there. She wanted to just quietly make her way to the well, collect her water, and just quietly disappear back home. But Jesus had a plan. Jesus had a plan for this woman to become a new brand of human being and a brand new child of God. Let me tell you what happened. Let's move on. Verse 15. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming back to this place. If you're going to be offered water, that's going to mean that you're never going to be thirsty again. But not only that, you never have to come back and expose who you are at this place ever again. Jesus is not just satisfying her physical need, he's also satisfying her emotional need, where she felt like somebody who was an outcast, somebody who people didn't like, somebody who people called evil names. And she was so relieved that she was going to be able to find water from Jesus that was going to quench her thirst forever didn't have to come back to this place where she was made to feel bad. I wonder, when people come to your church, members or not, do they feel uncomfortable about being there? Do they feel embarrassed about being here? Because they know that although you smile and you greet, and you make them feel as if they really matter, under your breath, in your heart, by your words, you're thinking and saying something else. Because you know what, we're like it or not, we're human beings. And unfortunately, so often, we think at a lower level. We think at the human level. And no matter how hard you try, if you know that she said something or someone and did something wrong, even if you're not involved, you kind of want to join in and, you know, whatever it is, and all of a sudden this person feels ashamed and feels that they don't want to be in your company. Now when I say you, I'm not talking about one person only, I'm talking about the company of the church. Yes, because they're made to feel as if they're the only person who have ever sinned. We are holy, we've done everything right, we've never made a mistake. Wow, I wonder. Alright, we're going to wrap it up in a minute. We're going to get there. So, the woman said, give me this water, man, quick. You can use my container. Just give me the water. And then in verse 16, he told her, go call your husband and come back. Jesus he's got the weirdest sense of humor I know. I don't know what other narrative took place before Jesus made this massive leap. But Jesus has just described how he can offer water. Water that would be like a spring bubbling up constantly. And when you are the source, now when the spring is in you, you always have full supply of water. You always have enough water. But then Jesus makes a massive diversion and says, well, okay, I will do it, but go get your husband. What? If you were the woman, knowing the woman as well as you and I do, oh my word, listen to this. He told her in verse 16, go call your husband and come back. And in verse 17, the woman says, I have no husband. And then in verse, he continues, Jesus said to her, you are right when you say you have no husband. Just for a minute, think of Jesus' response compared to what would be our response, assuming that we know everything about this woman. Would you, in spite of the fact that she had many husbands, would you be saying to her, you are right? Yes, at least you've spoken the truth. We might be able to accuse you of a lot of things, but I tell you what, when it comes to telling the truth, you're very good at telling the truth. And you know, sometimes we are there as individuals where we know we have done wrong in the sight of God. But we don't want to own up to it. We don't want to confess it. And that's one of our biggest struggles. God can't work, Jesus can't work with us if we're not prepared to put our hands up and says, you know what, you're right. And Jesus was in fact congratulating her, in my opinion, about at least being truthful about her sinful state. The words go on to say, you're right that you say you have no husband. In fact, you have 5 husbands. And the one you now have is not even your own. What you have just said is quite right. Wow. Jesus is amazing. It's like coming to church, this church, with all your sins, whatever your reputation, and you speaking to a Samaritan woman, and you giving her worth, and you making her feel like she was an equal. So much so, he asked her for water. Then the conversation continued, and it's just developing, where Jesus is taking her on a journey of newness of life. She was going to become a new brand of Samaritan woman, and a brand new child of God. It's incredible. Verse 25 says, the woman said, I know, and she went, she says, I know that Messiah called Christ is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us. Verse 26, Jesus declared, I, the one speaking to you, I am he. Can you imagine what would be like to have experienced this journey with this woman? You being that woman, and you came to a definite conclusion. This is the one we've been looking for. We didn't think you would look like this. We didn't think you would speak like this. In fact, we didn't think you would have time for me. But Jesus always has time for all of us. No matter how young, no matter what your race, no matter what your culture, no matter whether you wear glasses or not, no matter your hair is down here or here, wherever, Jesus loves you. And what he wants to do, he wants to influence your life so you become a new brand of human being. Not better than, but a new brand. And a brand new child of God. Listen, this story, you must read it sometime in John chapter 4. You must check it out. Guess what? In verse 39. The woman went, no, verse 20, I have to read verse 38. Leaving, and this is amazing, leaving her water jar, remembering this woman went for nothing else but water. Then she met Jesus, who offered her water like she's never had. This was she did. In verse 28, then leaving the water jar, all of a sudden she's not thirsty again. She's been filled by something different. The woman went back to the town and said to the people, come see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Messiah? They came out of the town and made their way toward Jesus. But listen to this. This is amazing. This is amazing because we've just, in a very small way, understood what kind of woman this was. This was a woman who had the reputation, it seems, for stealing people's husbands. I mean, your mom will tell you, one is enough. The one I know is enough and more than enough. Why would I ever want to look for another one? But somehow, and I'm sure the other way is absolutely correct. Right? I'm sure. But hear me out. Why on earth would you want not one, not two, not three, not four, and then you say the one you're with is not even your own? And then guess what? You're going back into town. The people and the place you would do anything before to avoid it. And because of her experience with Jesus, because of her sense of receiving a brand new experience with Jesus, she's going back to tell them, this man told me everything I've ever done, and guess what? I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel ridiculed. I don't feel criticized. I actually feel new. I feel brand new. So much so that I'm here to introduce him to you. Come see him. Come see a man. Oh, wow. I wish all of us could have that experience. I love that line more than any part of the story. Come see a man. who has told me everything I've ever done. And in spite of it all, I feel better now than I've ever felt before. I feel free. There's a text in the Bible that says, when God has set you free, you are free indeed. There's nothing like the truth. There's nothing like getting the truth out. And when you speak to Jesus, He's never going to expose you. He's never going to expose you. In fact, you feel so free and so joyful. You're prepared to tell people, you know what? In spite of who I was, don't worry about who I was, look who I am. I'm a new brand, and I'm brand new in Jesus.
Amen.
And so, I'm going to close. I hope you got the message. I hope you got the message. There is something really special about Jesus. And you know what? You might say, well, this was this woman's experience. She was physically in His presence. And maybe you might argue, you know what? I've never been in His physical presence, therefore my experience is different. Well, I have to tell you that that's not the whole story, that's not the truth. Jesus was here and only here for a while. And then He returned to heaven. And then He said, I will send you a comforter. I will send you the Holy Ghost, which will be like my presence everywhere you are. Because when Jesus was with this woman, He wasn't with anybody else at that time. But guess what? Right now, the Holy Spirit can be with you, and at the same time with you, and with Him, and with her in the back. That is so wonderful. And the Holy Spirit is on earth representing everything that Jesus and God is about. So you will have your ex-Samaritan woman experience. Hopefully you've already had it and you're having it, or if not, it will happen soon. Because there will come a time when Jesus and you will have an encounter. And He might point out some things that are really difficult for you. He might point out some sins that you and I are not prepared easily to share with anybody else. But you can share it with Him. You know why? Because He always makes you feel brand new. He makes you into a new brand. And so, men and women, boys and girls, I recommend to you Jesus. This same Jesus, while He hates sin, loves the sinner and is ready right now to accept you as just the way you are. The woman didn't have to do anything apart from recognizing that she was in the presence of someone who is about to save them. Someone, that's what all he wants to do, is to save them. He knows everything about us. You know what? He's not interested apart from saving you. And He says, okay, you just come. You confess. You put your hand up in all honesty. And I can work with you. We can do things. And so I recommend this Jesus to you today. Let Him come into your life. Be a new brand. And be a brand new child of God. Amen.